Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, The School of Love. My name is Maria and I am helping people discover their inner potential for love towards oneself and towards the others. In today's video, I'm going to express my thoughts on humankind based on ideas delivered and written by three French philosophers, which I like a lot. And let's get started. So the first philosopher I would like to borrow some ideas from is René Descartes, a French philosopher who lived between 1596 and 1650. And he's the one who uttered the famous words, "I think, therefore I am." In Latin, because he wrote in Latin, is "cogito ergo sum," or in French, "je pense donc je suis." And this was published in his discourse on the method, published in 1637. My interpretation of what is called the Cartesian delineation between body and mind is that we're all thinking and feeling entities. Some in the New Age scene argue that we are eternal beings having a temporary bodily experience on this rock, rushing through space. In my humble opinion, though, we, taken individually and as a species, as well as part of the ecosystem, are much more than just insignificant parts of a whole greater than its single element. It is important, though, to remember that we are by no means exclusively rational beings, which can find the best solutions to everything if only they would listen to their rationality and act accordingly. The fact that our emotions and reflexes and preconditionings from earliest childhood more often than not force us from the depth of the unconscious to take catastrophic decisions and to act upon them is scientifically proven more than enough. Therefore, learning how to work with emotions and not trying to control or repress, respectively suppress them, is the way to go. We have feelings and we have reason. We are complex, and while survival is our system's primordial priority, we can learn how to allow ourselves to be good despite our nature. The second idea is based on the words of the French philosopher Blaise Pascal, who lived between 1623 and 1662. His thought is, or was, man is but a reed, the most feeble thing in nature, but he is a thinking reed. In French, this sounds like l'homme n'est qu'un roseau, le plus faible de la nature, mais c'est un roseau pensant. This was published in Pensées, or Thoughts in English, originally from 1670. So it was a posthumous work. In my interpretation of Pascal's words, his sentence highlights our fragility, which is actually also our greatest strength. Again, incorporating in our very system both emotions as the language of the body and thoughts as the language of the mind, we can learn to make the best use of our strength while learning to cultivate and take care of our weaknesses. Hard work is a strength, while also leading to workaholism, which is an addiction-like disturbance employed to avoid unpleasant realities and lacks in one's life. Niceness and wanting everyone to be happy is good, until it turns into pathological people-pleasing and evil codependence, which is a highly destructive pattern of behavior. Being overly rational and accordingly rationalizing everything is beneficial, until the lack of emotions and empathy results in narcissistic or psychopathic or even sociopathic attitudes, which are extremely detrimental to oneself and to others. It is precisely the fragility of our position within the food chain and of our biological structure which forces us to take into account weaknesses and strengths and to combine them in a balanced manner for an optimal result. Number 3. Is the sentence published by Voltaire in his short novel published in 1779 called Candide. So the sentence is, everything is for the best, in this best of all possible worlds. My interpretation of this, probably one of my favorite sentences, is that there is a lot of talk in mass media, on social networking sites, and on all sorts of platforms about how bad this world is and how fast it is getting increasingly bad, increasingly worse. Statistically, though, we live in the most prosperous age of history, with an unprecedentedly high number of people living in abundance and stability. This difference between the subjective perception of reality and the objective display of reality leads many of us to think of ourselves in terms of negative outputs and negative outcomes, despite our best efforts. This, in turn, metamorphoses into what is generally called a self-fulfilling prophecy, so that the outside reality reflects our inner perception, processing and expectation of reality. While I do not encourage magical thinking of the type promoted by the apostles of the law of attraction, I do encourage to do one's best to see the silver lining in everything that is happening in the world, both in the immediate environment and in the larger perspective. Regardless of how disparate, dark, bleak, hopeless a specific situation, person, encounter, relationship, result might appear at some point, there is always, always, always something good to be extracted, even from the harshest realities. This ability to see the good in things is not wishful thinking or victim blaming or delusional optimism or anything like that. This is the ability to take radical responsibility for one's life and to be open to learn from everything and to see life as a continuous journey towards the final end, which is unavoidable. We're all works in progress. So, while there are times when things seem hopeless and dark, we only have this one life, a couple of decades on this incredible rock, rushing and swirling through space. So let's do our best while we are here. Thank you for being with me today, and I'm looking forward to welcoming you back very soon again. Love and peace to you all.